everyone, it's Rishi from The Growing Home. Today I'm very excited. We're here at the Heirloom Expo on the last day, and we're here with Jere and Emily Gettle, who are the founders and head people at Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company, which is, I believe, one of the largest heirloom seed companies.
I don't know. We do a lot of different seeds, lots of different varieties.
They have a great collection of seeds, an amazing catalog, and I actually I buy a lot of seeds from Baker Creek, so I'm really excited to talk to them today. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks. Thanks for coming to the event. Yeah, we really appreciate you being here. It's really great to have you.
Thank you. So I just, to start off, a lot of people ask me the question, what is an heirloom? What's an heirloom? What's an open pollinated? What's a hybrid? Can you give us, since you're the heirloom people, what's an heirloom seed? What are we talking about when we say heirloom?
An heirloom seed is basically one that's just been passed down from generation to generation, just like a piece of furniture or any kind of something that's been in a family. And there's literally thousands and hundreds of thousands of varieties that have been passed through different people through different countries. Every nationality and culture always had seeds that they passed down from generation to generation until recently. All seeds used to be heirloom until seeds became a part of corporate culture, like all food, and it became part of a way to mass market food.
Okay.
Seeds became a way to mass market. The initial step in mass marketing food versus local food that was created among neighbors and growing on farms locally.
Well, they were highly valued because that was that community's culture. That was their food resources.
Right.
And so once we got into more modern agriculture and the commercialization of our food, we slowly got away from that value, and now we're realizing how much we've missed when our food now doesn't taste the same like my grandparents used to talk about.
Right, we just went to the watermelon tasting inside, and I had a red, a yellow, and an orange watermelon, and they were all amazing. And that's something people that, especially from the city, we just know watermelon as, one thing. It's green and it's red on the inside.
And nowadays, mostly seedless.
Yeah, it's seedless to boot, right? So how did you all get involved with this? I know, Jere, I've heard that you've been saving seeds, from a young age. And Emily, where did you come in? From what background did you come in?
Well, I grew up with my grandparents gardening and farming and that. I wasn't quite as involved as Jere was as a child, but I always loved gardening. And so when I met him, his interest really reignited, I think, the heritage my family has passed down to me that I didn't realize that I was losing. So once we got together and he started teaching me some things, I was all excited. And how did you get started?
Yeah, give us your background, Jere?
Basically, I grew up on a farm, with lots of different vegetables. My grandparents and aunts and uncles and a lot of the neighbors had big gardens in the Boise Valley area, right actually on the Oregon border. And so we just grew up in the garden. Basically had gardens all around the house, so I just kind of came naturally. As a small child, I loved reading seed catalogs, and that's where I really got, all winter long we get anxious to get back in the soil again.
Was there one particular thing that you just really loved to eat or you loved to save the seed from?
I pretty much loved everything as a child, pretty much most all the vegetables, but especially like growing melons and squash, tomatoes.
I think that really comes out in this expo where we have thousands of different varieties of squash and melons displayed out in this hall over here.
Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff out there, so it's just, but I like it all. I love growing eggplant, morning glories, zinnias.
So are some of the seeds in the Baker Creek catalog heirlooms from your own families?
Not really, yeah. We didn't really have any varieties that were passed down to us, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But his interest started a lot because he started noticing in the seed catalogs that he loved, things were disappearing. And he wanted to know, why are they dropping things, and bringing in more modern varieties and hybrids and that sort of thing.
So you have this incredible seed company where you're collecting seeds from all over the world and spreading these heirloom seeds out to the whole country. What inspired you to start this Heirloom Expo, which is now in its second year?
Well, we were just, we'd noticed that, there wasn't any fairs. We'd read in old catalogs and magazines about how there used to be agricultural expositions where it was all based around the vegetables and the food. You know, like people would bring, you know, some farmer or a seed company would bring like 200 or 300 varieties to put on display. So people would come in and taste and see and feel and look and see what the differences were each year and what new varieties or old varieties they'd acquired and what was happening with it, you know, in the garden each year. And that had just slowly been lost. The county fairs have become more and more about the carnival rides and more just about entertainment and less and less about the actual what they were started on as agricultural exhibits, and that's what we tried to bring back here.
And so so you had the idea and now this is the second year. Has it lived up to your expectations? Are you satisfied with what you've brought to us?
Oh, well, it's just many people working together and coming up with different ideas to bring in different things. Like right now we're sitting in a biodynamic garden area, but there's multiple different elements, so there's always more we can add. That's the neat thing. There's never an end to what the possibilities with food and gardening and farming. There's so many elements.
Thrilling to see the connection with the speakers and, you know, with the vendors and the children. We had the kids' day yesterday to see them finally realizing where milk comes from. You know, where does my food come from? You know, they were able to actually plant some seeds and take home their own little garden and hopefully ignite that desire within them to be more passionate about their food.
I mean, and I completely agree with you both. Me and my mom have been here the last 3 days, and even though this is what we've been doing for the last 2 years and we think we know so much, you come here and man, it's just like your eyes are open because there's a lot of stuff you've never seen before. I mean, we went to the chicken area and I did not know chickens could get the size of like dogs. They're just huge. So that was really shocking to me. It's just great to learn new things, to see new things, taste new things. But I want to change gear now, because the other part of this is that this is almost like a counter movement to the movement towards GM and processed foods and all that. Monsanto and other GM seed companies are saying, well, we're doing this to save the world, to feed starving people. What is your reaction to that, and how do you see Heirloom as addressing the same problem but from a different angle?
Well, people have basically always depended on heirloom seeds for their sustenance. And to maintain each community, there was never until recently, the last 50 years, people started depending on corporations. And corporations have patented the food and controlled the food, and more that way, and less companies. There used to be hundreds and hundreds of companies across the U.S. that sold seeds. Each, major town had their own seed company. Every small town had a seed store, or a medium-sized town anyway. Those have mostly disappeared, and we've depended more and more on just a few companies, and more patented and hybridized, and now, unfortunately, genetically engineered seeds, and we really don't know what is the long-term consequences. These varieties are getting loose in the wild. Right. They're possibly causing allergies and health effects, and if nothing else, they're putting our entire food supply, not entirely, but by and large, if you look at the ingredients, corn and soybeans are in everything, so almost our entire food supply in the hands of corporations to keep selling the seed to us. They control the price, and they control what fertilizers and chemicals go on the crops that are genetically engineered. You have to buy the chemicals through the company in general that you're also buying your seed through. So it's basically a situation where if this happens, in countries that can't afford the seeds, maybe they're introduced, like even in this country, they were introduced fairly cheap when they first came out. They've had like 5 or more price increases, and they've went from somewhere in the neighborhood of $50, $60 a bushel on corn seed to well over $200.
Wow!
So the farmers are paying a lot more, the consumers are paying a lot more, and the companies that are making these are having record profits simply because they're getting more and more control around the seed supply.
And the sad thing is, a lot of poorer countries, they traded in their own heirloom varieties and bought the idea that by buying this food it would save the world or whatever, and now they're wishing they had those seed varieties, but they've lost it because they didn't keep them up.
So I know some people might not understand this, but if you have a variety that's an heirloom and you you stop growing it, then it's pretty much gone, right? There's just no way to.
In general, unless somebody else is growing it somewhere. So that's the good thing. In many cases, there's somebody growing it somewhere. Whether you can find it again or not, that's the hard part. But
Okay.
there are varieties that are continuously being lost too, because just nobody is growing them. So it's a situation where a lot of things are happening, both exciting and not so exciting. But here in California, we're trying to get labeling of genetically engineered foods. That's part of the event here.
Right.
With Prop 37. So it's just we're trying to create awareness around what our food means, what our seed means, what the whole situation is with our food in general, and how exciting it can be to see and taste and learn about the great diversity, the history, the shapes and sizes and colors, and meet the farmers that are actually trying to do something better, trying to do something different. Not people that are going to farm like they're going to a factory every day and going to a slaughterhouse or going to a commercial corn farm where they're having to spray all the time, and they're continuously getting allergies and getting their neighbors maybe getting cancers, or they're getting respiratory problems in the like Central Valley. So many of the workers there have respiratory problems, and they have to cover their faces with masks just because of the chemicals in many situations. Farming shouldn't involve covering your face with a mask and sitting inside the tractor cab so you stay safe.
So it's coming back to that heirloom. It's like almost a lifestyle, right? And I think, Emily, you've started a magazine, right, which is about the heirloom life. Can you tell us about that? And
We have the Heirloom Gardener magazine, which is something Jere started back in 2003, and I've taken on editing that. And so we get a lot of really interesting articles from people like William Boyce Weaver, telling the history of these heirloom varieties, why it's important to save them, highlighting the ones that are in more critical condition that need to be, saved. And also we cover tons of recipes. It's mostly vegetarian or vegan. And so we teach you not only how to grow the produce, but also how to cook it. And we also make you aware of what is happening throughout the world with our food supply. What new legislation's coming to pass, and what is coming into our food supply, as we call it, the Franken food news.
Right. The other thing I wanted to mention, which I think is something really great, you guys you own this heirloom seed company, and you're putting on this expo. So in the kind of the old mindset, we would think, well, there's not going to be anyone else selling seed here. But if you come to this expo, and I think there's at least 15 other vendors selling organic or heirloom seeds, and I think that's just something really great to see, that you're not seeing it as competition, but it's a cooperation towards this new movement.
Right. Well, the more people that are involved, I think, the more seeds that can be saved, and the more nutrition can be passed on to our children. So it's not just one person monopolizing it. We should have people in all their communities saving their own historic varieties, whether it's your grandma's or something that was, native to that area of the country.
Right. Well, thank you both for talking to us. I know you're
really
both
appreciate you coming out to the event.
I know you're both very busy, so thank you for taking the time.
Well, thank you. Sure appreciate you coming out to the event.
Thank you.
Hopefully you make it next year.
Oh, we're definitely coming back.
All right. Sure appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. And thank you all for watching this video. We made tons of videos here at the Heirloom Expo, so please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and then you can watch all our other videos that we made about the Heirloom Expo. And thank you once again, Jere and Emily, for putting this on. It was great fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.